5 questions you should ask every vocal coach before you study with them. Hey guys, thanks for joining me. My name is Keith Harris. I'm a professional opera singer and voice teacher. And today I want to talk about, should you actually interview your teacher or your coach before you work with them? And the answer is yes. A lot of people are scared. They think, oh, it's not appropriate for me to ask certain questions. But it is. Furthermore, maybe someday you'll have the opportunity to meet someone a singer that you're really inspired by. And having some questions already in mind will help you from going, and you might learn something from that person. So today, I'm going to work as 2 people. I'm going to be the interviewer, and I'm going to answer the questions. So you get an idea of how this might go down. Question number 1, how did you become a voice teacher? This is a great question, right? How did you become a coach? Why should, that kind of says, why should I work with you? Well, I studied, my bachelor's degree was in vocal performance and choral education. And part of that degree, or both degrees actually, was teaching voice one-on-one. You go through all the pedagogy classes and then you teach voice. And what I found is I absolutely loved it. It also was really important for me to give back. I found that I sang better if I taught it to someone. And that what people had done for me and giving to me, helping develop and give me my voice, I wanted to do for other people. So that's kind of where it started. I also found that I really love working one-on-one. I love connecting with someone, finding out what makes them tick, because the voice is as individual as a fingerprint. So I love the challenge of, where is that voice? How does that fingerprint work? And then I just never stopped and I kept teaching. Question number 2. Of your students who have professional careers, what qualities or talents do they have in common? This is really great. I would say the most important quality that my students have in common is they're really hard workers. When they come to lessons, I can tell that they've practiced and that they're ready to work. And they'll leave that voice lesson sweating buckets. Being a really hard worker, in a healthy way, being obsessed with your work, actually is a really great quality in a singer. You have to be a singer to do this. You can't kind of say, maybe I'll try it, maybe it's okay. There is a burning intensity that you have to sing to be a singer. And all my singers who are working have that quality. The other thing I find about people who particularly are really doing well in the business is they're just nice. They're generous people. And I think part of the reason that is that when people really see success in the business, they appreciate how much hard work it took to get there. And they know, hey, there's plenty of room at the top if you're willing to climb the mountain. So they're always saying, yeah, come on up, there's plenty of room, because they know how much hard work it is. And when you get there, they know that, call it hazing, if you will. They know you've gone through the process to get there. So they're really generous with their time, and they're really generous, just people in general, in rehearsals and in asking questions and in helping people maybe do what they've done as well. All right. Number 3, what careers are available to music students? Oh, this is a great one, because we're studying voice. The obvious is to pursue a career as a solo singer. That may or may not work out for a lot of people, but we sometimes think solo career, famous, or broke and living in mom's basement. And the truth is there's actually a lot of options in between. There's a lot of places in the music world for people to work. And there's a lot of genres, right, that people can work in, right? Pop music, music theater, opera, just to name a few, of the big ones, obviously. But then there's also backup singer for groups. There's studio musicians. If you can learn to sight sing really well off music, people will hire you just to come in. They'll turn on the microphone, play the music. You can sing commercials, backup tracks. I once was part of a 20-person choral group that sang backup tracks for a VeggieTales movie. It was great. I was a college student, made $50 an hour. It was a brilliant way to make some money, but I could only do that because I was a good sight reader. There's also a lot of choral work and church work. Also, if you learn to use the voice well, voiceover work. Voiceover is the person you hear but you never see in commercials, or maybe when you call a company, hey, welcome to Amex, or There is a ton of work out there, audiobooks, for example, a ton of work out there for voiceover people. I also am a voiceover artist, and it's growing. So once you learn to use the voice, there are a lot of options to continue using it, and you can make a good living doing it. Number 4, can voice lessons help people or their voices beyond just singing? And this is so great in many ways. First of all, singing is good for the soul. I actually think it increases the length of a person's life. It just feels good. In yoga, they'll say, they do those ohms at the end. And then what they say about the ohms is that vibration is a massage for the nervous system. And I really believe that. And I think singing in general does that. It's the sound, it's the emotion, it's the sound of emotion. It's the release of who we really are. And I find when people sing, they're just really happy. It's really hard to have an argument with someone when you're singing a duet, right? Because it's so much fun, because you feel good. But I've also had a lot of singers come to me who are recovering from a vocal condition or who are public speakers. And they say, okay, I've done some vocal therapy or I'm having some vocal trouble. Can singing help make my voice stronger? And can it help me public speak again? Or can you finish the process from vocal therapy and bring it up another level so I can sing? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So singing can be good for our voice on many, many levels. For our body, for our voice. You have to remember, this is a muscle. And just like any other muscle in the body, if you exercise it, it will respond. The only difference is this muscle seems to have a more spiritual release than some of our other muscles, and it just makes people feel good. All right, and number 5, the last one. If you can't afford voice lessons, what are some other options? Well, if you're watching this video, you're already participating in some of those options. It is really tough to develop the voice, and I would even be willing to say you're not going to have a career, certainly as a solo singer, without a voice teacher. In the meantime, though, scour the internet with, there's so many things for voice lessons, there's so many ways, videos to help keep you motivated, especially on my channel. There are some other great channels as well. A lot of teachers now, however, are teaching on Skype. I do as well. I teach on Skype. And if you can't, so sometimes the expensive part is you find a teacher you want to work with, but you have to pay to travel there, then you have to pay the housing, plus you have to pay to find a voice teacher. And I get all that because finding a voice teacher is very scary. It's a very personal thing. You're going to let someone mess with your instrument. Is it the right person? Is it the wrong person? And then it is very expensive. For 1 hour lesson, you can be, well over $100, some over $150. I've heard even $200 just for an hour. And if you're particularly just getting started, that's a lot of money. That's a lot more than you're going to make at a daily job. But I do recommend, if you're really serious about this, you do other things to make money, and you make it a plan and a goal to take voice lessons, and you put it into your goal to do it regularly. I worked all kinds of bizarre and other jobs when I was working my way up to be a singer. I've worked in construction, I built swimming pools. When I lived in Wisconsin, I worked in a Swiss cheese factory. Seriously, you do what you need to do to eat and save that little bit to make some money. When I first came to New York, I worked for Starbucks for 6 months, then I had a temp job, and eventually I went freelance. And obviously that was the goal, and it feels great to go freelance. But there's a lot of steps in between. And if you really are a hard worker, like I said at the beginning, those people that are really successful are hard workers. That means doing hard work in any job you do. Every job I had, the focus was, I'm going to do this so I can sing. I'm going to do this so I can sing. And if you have that, you will. Thanks again for joining me. I hope you found this really useful. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below or ask a question. And if I can give you voice lessons or you have questions you'd like to ask me, please drop me an email, keithharristraining@gmail.com.